It's no blood, no foul. It's no blood, no foul. It's no blood, no foul. Emotions spill on the court when you proud to rep your city, New York.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to No Blood, No Foul. I figured that since the NBA draft combine is happening right now, that we should get in and do a little draft content ourselves. So I'm here with Moo, and Kyle's, our tech person, so I'm sure he'll chime in every once in a while. But we're going to do a little mock draft.
So a couple things. First of all, this is going to be what we would do in each draft pick. So this is not going to be, we're not predicting who's going to go where. So in a couple months when the draft happens and it doesn't go like we say it will, don't come at us, because that's not what we're trying to do. And also, no trades. I know we saw earlier there was rumors of Golden State shipping, Wiseman and 7 for Pascal Siakam. We're not going to do anything like that. We're just speculating on what the draft order is right now. And with that, Moon, you're on the clock.
Yeah, so I think Cade is the safe pick. I don't want to say that he's actually going to be the best player to come out of this draft. So I don't think so. But I think with the Pistons, I mean, they've got so many needs. They can use everybody. Yeah. I think they go with the safe pick and they go with Cade Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me. I do worry about Cade's athleticism a little bit. I don't think he was in particularly good 2-point shooter, and that's like kind of an important shot for you to have to be a superstar player. And granted, things are a little bit tighter on the college court as opposed to what's going on in the NBA. So I think he'll be probably able to get to his spots a little bit better. But I do worry because I mean he hit a lot of tough and bad shots, but that's an important skill to have. So I mean I like him. I think the Pistons, that's definitely the way you need to go. I know he has a negative assist to turnover ratio, but I think that's part of the reason. I mean his team just being kind of so. So I think an open. I think in high school too, like when he was playing with like Scotty Barnes and some other guys, like he was much better of a playmaker. So I think once you get to the NBA and then you got Stewart and Sadiq Bey, they should be able to.
And Killian Hayes.
And Killian Hayes. The guy that everyone lusted after last draft, and he was by far.
He's going to be good. He's going to be good. Just wait for it.
Yeah, 2 years away from being 2 years away. As they like this.
Old Bruno Caboclo.
Yeah. That's the thing. I don't know. It's hard to gauge with Cade. I think he will do well because he kind of does a little bit of everything. But it's one thing that obviously we all know that play at the college level and against college competition, and make that transition into pros. I think mentally he's tough. His game is versatile, right? Everybody needs work. So I think, it will be good. I don't know about, right? I don't want to say it doesn't fit the Pistons because, like I said, the Pistons need everything. But I think they need someone that can really, step in there and be kind of their, clear-cut number one guy, carry the load on offense, kind of like, a Dame or someone like that. And I don't think Cade is that type of player. But being number one, you have to go with the obvious choice. I don't think anybody's going to, criticize the Pistons for taking Cade Cunningham first.
Well, I always see too that whenever there's the next guy, and you hear that about Cade with Luka, that's like the kind of like one comparison that keeps to be made. Usually, those guys never really live up to those expectations. And I don't see that the same like deceleration skills and like the handle that Luka has. Right. A lot of his offense is jump shots. He doesn't get to the rim like Luka does. Yeah. But again, and NBA spacing, having NBA shooters around him, I think it's going to make his life a lot easier. But I mean, he's so damn talented.
Right.
So I think we should move on to the next pick in the draft.
Yep.
The Houston Rockets are going number 2. And I know a lot of people have Evan Mobley penciled in here, but I think they really like Christian Woods. And we've seen kind of in this playoffs that no matter how good of a big man you have, you really need a perimeter creator. So I'm going to go with Jalen Green here. He looks like one of those guys that can be really good. I mean, he is freakish athletic. He's very explosive. He's got good handles. He's got the layup, the creative layup package. He looks like one of those guys that can be a star. Now, granted, he's like 165 pounds, soaking wet. He's going to have to hit the gym like crazy, but I mean, he looks so good. I think if it was me in the Pistons office, I probably would be having a conversation about whether you would want to go this way. Because I think if you look at him and you see if he reaches his ceiling, I feel like his ceiling is probably the highest in the draft.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do think, same thing, just like you said. If I was the Pistons, I would seriously consider Jalen Green. Mobley is extremely talented, and he's got some really rare skills, but I think Green just something about him says that just screams star. His game, his length, his explosiveness. I mean, it's hard to find, and he does a lot of other things. I think the biggest problem why people don't like him is it's the traditional reaction way. They look at him and say, "Oh, he's going to end up being he's going to dribble the clock out, and he's going to be a ball hog." But if you watch him play, he really doesn't play like that. Yeah. He passes extremely well. He sees the court extremely well. He can shoot. So if that's a concern, I don't think it is. But his ability, right? His ability to start from the perimeter, get to the basket, it's really rare. And when you can do that, everything else about the game opens up.
Well, especially too, he's playing grown men. Even the G League's not great. He was playing with Jarrett Jack and stuff like that. Who was he was a pro, but he even on the backside of their careers, he was getting some serious separation from these guys, being able to create shots, and that's that kind of stuff is not going to go away. It's like if he's going to have to pack on some pounds and hit the weight room. Because once the game gets a little bit more physical, the playoffs that are going on behind the screen right now, that's going to be an issue. But for right now, on a really bad Rockets team, I mean, I feel like it's a no-brainer to me to go that direction.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so with and this kind of segues in. I think the Cavs above any other team would love to have Evan Mobley. I think, with their backcourt, right, regardless of what they do with Sexton, I think if they can get Mobley in, they might think about keeping their backcourt together, right? Mobley just does so many different things. He's got talent. It's rare to see a 7-footer. I mean, I don't think he's much heavier than Jalen Green, but he's got serious talent. The ability for a 7-footer to put the ball on the floor. It's really soft touch. He's got the Duncan bank shots going. He just has a really great feel for the game. I think Mobley and Green probably will end up being, I want to say, the two guys that's going to really be stars. I think Mobley has so much tools for a 7-footer that it's rare. I think I don't want to say generational. Because you don't get that very often. But this is a guy that on both ends of the floor is quick, is lengthy, but he just has a really mature game for a guy his age. I think he's 20.
And he locks down the whole floor defensively too.
Yeah, definitely. There's no way the Cavs would pass on Mobley at 3. I don't think they'll entertain any trades because I'm sure trade proposals will come in. I don't think he's the perfect fit. He is the good guy that has, the big guy, the good guy, the ultra talented guy. By all counts, he's, super smart, humble kid. He fits what they should be looking for perfectly.
So what do you think they do with Jared Allen then? Because he's there.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. Because there's rumors they were willing to offer him $100 million. So they must like him,
Yeah, I think I would not. I think within their time frame, I think they're still so far at the start. Restarting with a lot of a couple of young guys that are good. You don't want to start committing big bucks, I would look to trade Jared Allen. I'm sure a lot of teams will like him.
Yeah, he's got a cool
Or you go
afro,
with
so.
them, and if you think you could play Mobley, and Allen together, they're both mobile guys. Maybe you do that.
Maybe if it was 2005, I feel like
Maybe,
it would be a no-brainer there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess let's go on to the Toronto Raptors. See, if it was me, I was gonna go Suggs there. I feel like they need like a little bit more of a playmaker, and they need some defense and stuff like that. So I would have had Mobley falling here, but I'm gonna go Suggs here. I think they're gonna let Lowry walk. I think you could say my feeling is that Suggs is gonna be like the Lowry redux. I think that is probably a really good fit there. Like I do have some concerns with Suggs. I don't know if he's a guy that you really want to be like breaking down the defense all the time. And another thing that another thing I kind of noticed too is that he was like very willing to take a back seat. I like listened to like a clip of some podcast that Gilbert Arenas was on, and like one, you wouldn't think that the guy that brought the guns to the locker room would be a high basketball IQ guy. But he like really blew me away.
Hang on. I don't think that has anything to do with basketball IQ. That's just normal IQ.
Normal, fair enough. But yeah, and he just kind of pointing out the same things. Like I mentioned it a few months ago in one of the draft threads that I kind of thought Suggs kind of had a little bit of low motor, but that's not the right phrase for it. I think he was like willing to sit back, and because his team was so talented. So it's like I don't know if you take him out of that Gonzaga situation that he'd be more dominant or not,
or would he be worse?
I don't know. That's the good question.
Right.
But yeah, that was.
It goes both ways, right? Is the reason he's taking a backseat because he's got such a talented team, or is he as good as he is because he's on such a talented team?
Right. That he's more willing. He's like not willing to break out. He's more willing to fit into the mold.
Right.
I think that's a very important question for him to ask. It's like there's been a few games that I watched the Zags where he like would sit back on Kisper and Timmy and what's the other guy? Joel. I don't know. I'm gonna butcher Ayaya. Yeah. And like I watched him like sit back and kind of like play like a catch and shoot role when that's not really his strength either. So but otherwise, I mean, he's just like so poised and like freakish athletic, and he's super solid. Like his pick and roll game is pretty good too, but I just don't know if you're gonna want for him to pound the ball for like a duration of a shot clock or a part of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to see a comp for Jalen Suggs. It's hard to gauge. I mean, I love the way he plays. He defends, right? He's intense. He does all those things that coaches love. I'm sure Tibbs would love him. But I don't know. I don't think he's as good as some of the guys on the board hype him to be or push him to be.
So this is what the Ringer has for comps. Mm-hmm. Brandon Roy, Chauncey Billups, Jamal Murray. I agree kind of with the role of like the Murray and the Billups. I'm not sure he's going to be that good. I was more thinking of, like I said, Lowry was my first thought. Lowry, and then my second thought is more like a Malcolm Brogdon. I feel like that's kind of like a good comp for him.
Yeah. That's a good one. Yeah.
Like really good, but not great.
Right. He's not someone that's going to come in and if you have no talent, and being able to, lead the team in scoring and be able to do all those other things that, I think he needs a team. Is the Raptors? Yeah, I mean, the Raptors have.
It's probably a great fit for him, actually, if you think about it.
Yeah, they've got solid guys, and they're 1 year away from removed from, being a really great team. So they know how to play. So I think, out of the four.
Nurse is a good coach, too, so you'll be able to fit him into the system real well. I have to say, that's probably my favorite fit so far.
Yeah.
Because he can play, depending on if Pascal Siakam ends up in Golden State, but like he'll be able to play off of Van Fleet and Pascal.
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess we'll go on to
Number 5.
my second favorite team, the Orlando Magic.
That says a lot about you,
At least my second favorite team is the Bulls. So
see, I loved Tracy McGrady on those like 2002, 2003 teams, and like I was playing NBA 2K3 and stuff like that. They were my go-to team because I loved me some T-Mac. So that's why it was super fun when he was here for the Knicks and he had like that 1 20-point game or whatever. I was going nuts. I was like, 8th grade me was like loving it, They've got a bunch of guys that are like kind of okay, like Fultz is like decent. Like Cole Anthony kind of turned it around at the end of the season.
And they also just gave Fultz $50 million.
Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah, 3-year, $50 million extension starting next year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, they must be. He was a guy that we should have tried buying low on, but I think that again, that I don't want to get too off topic. But they have a lot. They have a lot of combo guards. They obviously Jonathan Isaac is coming back from his knee injury, and he's probably going to be penciled in at that 4 spot. And Wendell Carter looked pretty solid for them going down the stretch. So I mean, I'm going to go with probably the 5th best player on the board. Jonathan Kuminga is going to be my pick at number 5. I kind of go back and forth on him. I was like really excited to watch him coming into the G League season because like I was like, he's already got an NBA body. I think he's going to be better than Green. He had like a really awesome.
Wait, hang on, Jim. Wasn't this Moo's pick?
I think so.
Oh, right.
Did we fuck this up?
Yeah, we already messed this up. All right, Moo. Who are you going to go with then?
No, I was going to go with Kuminga.
All right, it all works out.
I actually, it's really between 2 guys. I like Kuminga. I also like Scotty Barnes. I know a lot of guys don't like him, right? Probably because he can't shoot.
I don't like Scotty Barnes at all. I'll let you finish your thought.
Yeah, I think Barnes can develop. I think just his length and his ability to kind of be the overall all-around type. He does, defensively. He's probably the best all-around defender in this draft. He could pretty much defend any position. He's extremely aggressive. The length, like almost 7'3" wingspan on a 6'8" combo forward. He moves really well. I just like the way he plays. The shooting, it's a weakness. But I'll go like I said on the board. You don't need everyone to shoot. You need if everybody could shoot and he can defend and do all the things he does, he'd be the number 1 pick, right? So
yeah.
I would still go with Kuminga. I think Kuminga's probably a better fit for the way that the Magic is kind of geared towards playing. He might have a little bit more upside, but he also has a lower floor, I think.
Yeah, I think with them too, like they need scoring. They need scoring
Right.
and playmaking. I feel like are the 2 big things that the Magic need the most. And I think Kuminga looks like somebody that's going to be able to score. Like he may not necessarily be great, but like I could definitely see him being like a Rudy Gay or like a Luol Deng type of guy. Right. More like I guess. Who I like to compare? I feel like him and RJ actually have a lot of similarities. Where like RJ is kind of a little bit more of a point forward type guy, and Kuminga is a little bit better of scoring. But I feel like they're both kind of like power wings that like try to like body people in the paint on the dribble, off the dribble, and stuff like that. So it's I love him. I didn't expect him to shoot as bad as he did, but apparently in the combine he put up, or like either the combine or a workout, he like put up like a bunch of threes and hit most of them. So he's probably been in the lab working on the jumper. So if that jumper comes around, that's a big deal. And he might be better than I expect him to be.
Agree.
So I guess now it's OKC time.
OKC.
Yes, and now you can make the pick.
I know. Yay. I'm so excited. This is really tough because like we're doing this as ourselves, right? If I was doing the pick, I feel like if I was doing the pick, I would go with Davion Mitchell here for them. I think he's.
Oh, you going with a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander replacement?
Yeah.
For when they ship him off?
Yeah, well, hopefully to the Knicks, knock on wood. But no, I think they went with like the home run swing last year with Poku. And I don't know if they necessarily are going to do that. I'm not a big Scotty Barnes fan. I don't really see what his offensive role is. My biggest concern is that he's kind of in like an Obi situation where you really can only play Barnes at the 4. Like, I don't think he's a 3, and he doesn't offer you any rim protection or really rebounding to play that small ball 5 thing. That's like, I've mentioned this before, but what made Draymond Green so great was that his insane length, and he offered rim protection and switchability. I mean, Barnes is probably the best defender in the draft. He's going to be able to guard 1 through 5, but like, if you can't protect the rim, how important is it that you being able to switch on to guards? I don't know.
Right,
you know,
right.
So I'm going to go with Mitchell here. He's already experienced playing off guard with another point guard, so I think him and Shea would fit really well together. They'd be a terror on the defensive end, and it should allow Shea to play off ball every once in a while because they don't really have that guy. And like, imagine the defense between Shea, Mitchell, and then Lou Dort at your 3. I mean, that's 3 lockdown guys essentially. I mean, I hope the rumors about Shea are true, that he might be kind of on the market because that's the guy the Knicks should totally go out and get. But yeah, so that's my thought process on the Mitchell pick.
Yeah, I mean that's a good pick. I think he's going a little bit high. But you know what, I think we're heading into that territory where any number of guys could get picked. So, yeah, definitely.
I think another option for them too, that like if we're gonna talk like if they still look high upside, I think Keon Johnson could be another guy that could come and be picked here too. I mean, he set some records at the combine for his athleticism. I mean, he's pretty freakishly explosive. So that's another name to keep an eye out on.
Right.
So when we have time, I'm going to go on my rant about how the vertical jump at the combine is complete bullshit, and you should never trust its measurement.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, he even in games in Tennessee, he went pretty crazy sometimes. So,
well, yeah, that's what you do. You watch the games to see how athletic they are. That's all that matters.
Sure. Well, that's why it's like it drives me nuts that they measure these guys without shoes on at all. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like that's a big old.
Oh my god, are we gonna get back into my whole the NBA lies about everyone's height rant? We don't have time for that.
Yeah. All right, who's next? Who's next in the draft? We're going to talk Golden State. Yeah,
Warriors.
Golden State. All right, Mo.
If there's one team that can make a surprise pick, I think it's the Warriors. Assuming they even keep the pick. I do think that they're not ready to reset. So they're going to be looking for somebody that fits their style and their system because they're going to get the guys back, right?
Yeah.
So I think they're going to look at getting. They're definitely going to try to move Wiseman because he just doesn't seem to fit.
And he stinks.
Yeah. So if they do move him, I still think Scotty Barnes is he may not be a center, but he does the things that I think can work well in a supporting role. I still think he has a lot of upside. I might be one of the rare guys. I think that it's going to be either Scotty Barnes or they're going to surprise people and go with the Jalen Johnson.
Okay.
But I will go with, I'll go with Jalen Johnson. I think, Johnson really didn't get a lot of play. But people are really excited about,
He reminds me of Randall. That's who Jalen Johnson reminds me of.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's like a terror on the break. He offers some playmaking. Like, yeah, why offer a 7-14 for Randall when you can, draft his,
right.
The homage.
I'm gonna go with Jalen Johnson.
All right, cool. Yeah, it's the interesting thing about him is that apparently he like transferred around high schools a bunch,
right?
And like he obviously quit on Duke too once like the season got too far ahead or deep into the season to like avoid COVID and stuff like that. I wonder how much like that can be a red flag because like I feel like I saw I think it was. I don't remember who did this mock, but yeah, they had Johnson falling all the way to us at 19.
I would love that.
21.
I think he's the type of guy that if he does fall, the talent is there. I think talent wise, he's like top 5, 6, right? If you can, I don't know what the background is. I just know that in the NBA you need talent to win, and he's got lots of it. So I think for the Warriors, they have the vets. They'll still have Draymond. I think they can try to make sure Johnson kind of at least plays along the lines of what they want. I think his style will fit well. And then they'll try again. You could say that after Weissman they're risk averse. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how they play it. They pick guys that have talent and they think they can work with. And if you don't, they still have talent. The team itself is talented, so they can afford to take some risks. I think they have another pick right in the late tail end of the lottery. Yep, they can 14. Take a risk. Yeah, they can take a risk here. So I'll go with Jalen Johnson.
Okay, cool. All right, next up in this mock draft is the Orlando Magic. Yeah, the Orlando Magic. They got this second pick from the really dumb trade that Chicago decided to trade for Vucevic for some reason. We still don't know why, but so they ended up with a second lottery pick. And as I mentioned before, I think the Magic mostly need playmaking and scoring. They got the scorer in Kuminga. I'm going to go Josh Giddey here from Australia. I like this fit here a lot. Like I said, most of their guards that they have are combo guards. Like Fultz is a scoring guard. Cole Anthony's a scoring guard. RJ Hampton is a scoring guard. They need somebody that actually is going to get everybody else involved. Will he really be a guard in the NBA? I think I have a little bit of my doubts, but his vision is pretty damn elite. And I think it'll fit in real nicely with that Magic squad. And he's going to want to have them get out and run. And they're going to be with a bunch of other young bucks that are going to want to get out and run too. So I like the fit here. It might be a little bit of a reach, but I think I like his upside. I think he's going to be a really good player or a nice glue fit guy there.
You know what? It might be a reach, but I absolutely love the spiciness of the take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Just everyone's mock is kind of like the same. Let's change it up a little bit, And I think it's a good fit stylistically. I think they'll be able to get a bunch out of him, and you can have like Cole Anthony run off screens and have Giddey find them, and have Kuminga do some stuff too, and have Giddey throw some sweet passes because he's really good.
That's a good pairing, I think, for that team. Be really interesting, really exciting. Yeah, and they have time, right? They're under no pressure to really, try to win. Orlando fans are, about as easygoing, I think, as you could possibly get. And they'll give these guys time, as long as they look good and they do. I think, Kuminga, Giddey, they pair well together. When you throw it with some of the other players on the Magic, I like this pick a lot.
All right, next up
Kings
is the forever dumpster franchise, the Sacramento Kings.
Who's the Kings head coach?
Jim, you know what they say about throwing stones in glass houses, right?
Hey, we were the 4th seed this year, baby.
I'm just saying.
Throwing stones early.
I'm just saying. We make the Kings drafting look like, I don't know, what's a great drafting team? The Pacers. We make them look like the Pacers in comparison, so.
Well, honestly, they have to be even worse than us in the past 20 years or so.
Oh, yeah.
We had 3 solid years of
Jim, I got 3 words for you. De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
Name me one draft pick we've had that's anywhere close to as good as that in the past 20 years.
Past 20 years?
20 years.
And a matter of fact, name me one first-round draft pick that we've re-signed in the past 20 years.
Well, none of that.
Exactly.
That's for sure.
Exactly. That's the point. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah.
Kings.
So I think with the Kings, who's their head coach? Do we
I think it's still Luke Walton.
Luke Walton? I think they need to do what the Knicks did, and get somebody serious that won't take crap from anybody. I think that's critical for them. But they have some talented guys, but they're kind of all over the place. I think their best choice is to get guys in that do play hard. That does play intense, does little things, big things, versatile, and just kind of helps set the tone. They just, Marvin Bagley, I don't know what he's doing. That's a throwing away.
He's liking tweets about trading him and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah, things aren't looking great.
Marvin Bagley, the guy that was picked one spot before Luka.
Yeah.
Marvin Bagley.
That Marvin Bagley.
I'll have to go with Scotty Barnes. I think the Kings have enough guys that need the ball and dribble the ball and do things with the ball on the offensive end. They need somebody that can, do everything else, kind of do it, go out there and really play. I think Barnes fits what they should be going towards. I think, at what are they picking 9th? I think 9th, Barnes is a really good pick. There's still some offensive concerns, but I think the rest of his game should really fit well. At least what the Kings should be looking to draft and to build and the type of players they should have. So I'll go with Scotty Barnes.
Yeah, I was thinking him too. That's why I kind of went with the direction I went with OKC, because I felt like this is probably the best fit for Barnes. I feel like they really need defense. They already have 2 shot creators in De'Aaron Fox and Tyrese Halliburton. I love this pick for them. I feel like it's a great fit, and that was the way that I would have gone. Next up on our mock draft is the New Orleans Pelicans. I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go Corey Kispert. I think what they need, they need shooting. They have enough guys that can create off the dribble. You probably want the ball in Zion's hands a lot. We're going to see whether Lonzo stays, but I think Kispert is a more versatile shooter than Lonzo is. You can run Kispert. He's a movement shooter. He's going to give them a lot of what Redick was able to give them. I'm going to go Corey Kispert here.
That's an interesting pick. I mean, I think a lot they need shooting, right? They definitely need shooters around Zion. Do they? How? Kyle, do you know where they ranked in 3-point shooting?
I love, you're going to have to space the floor for Zion. Brandon Ingram is a great ISO. Kispert's going to be a real nice guy to be like a bailout, dump out guy.
Yep.
I think that's all a real good fit. I mean, it might be a little high for him. I mean, he's an upperclassman and he's a white guy. So I don't know how well he's going to fit defensively and stuff like that.
JJ Redick replacement.
Yeah. JJ Redick. I think
so.
Again.
So last year, the Pelicans were the 5th worst by percentage in the league, 34.8% as a team.
Yeah.
And coincidentally, the 4 worst in them were the Magic, Rockets, Thunder, and Cavs, who have all already picked.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a solid pick for them.
Yeah,
I'll agree. Yeah.
Should we move on to the Hornets?
Sure.
All right. So before we move on, real quick, just to recap, the top 10 picks have gone. Number 1 was Cade Cunningham going to the Detroit Pistons. No surprise there. Then Jalen Green goes number 2 to the Houston Rockets. Evan Mobley, number 3 to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 4, Jalen Suggs goes to Toronto. Number 5, we have Jonathan Kuminga going to the Orlando Magic. Not Scotty Barnes. Well, Davion Mitchell goes number 6 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Golden State Warriors pick Jalen Johnson, number 7. Josh Giddey goes number 8 to the Magic again. Number 9, there's Scotty Barnes going to the Sacramento Kings. And finally, number 10, we have Corey Kispert going to the Pelicans.
All right, Moo. I think you're up with the Hornets.
Yeah, this is going to be kind of an interesting pick. The Hornets have a lot of guards, a point guard like guys. They really don't have. I don't think they still have any front court guys.
Yeah, they need a bigs. They have Miles Bridges, and that's like about it. But he's like 6'6",
and he was like playing center every once in a while for them, right?
Yeah, so they're desperately need of a big.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking about fit, right? With all the guys, especially with everything likely to revolve around LaMelo.
Yeah.
They probably want guys that fit that. So LaMelo pushes it up. You throw shooters and you throw rim runners at it. So I'll probably go here with Kai Jones.
Good pick. That was who I was going to go with if I had this pick. I mean, he's super raw, but like he's like flashed some face-up game. Yeah. He's got like some jumpers too. I mean, he's freakishly athletic. I think that's like the home run pick for them here because they're in desperate need of a big.
And they still have a little bit of time. There's not a great amount of pressure for them to, right? Everybody's still giddy about LaMelo looking rookie of the year and looking great, and get some guys around him to fit.
Yeah, he would be a good he would definitely be a good running mate. I would prefer Kai Jones over Jackson, who I see a lot of other people mock to him from UK.
Yeah.
I don't skinny 6'10" guys are always kind of questionable.
Speaking of Jacksons, Kai Jones reminds me of young Jackson Hayes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm big on that pick there. I think that's a really good fit. Next up are the Spurs. After 30 years of dominance, they've finally fallen out of the playoffs and into the lottery. They got like a ton of wings, and they kind of have like a ton of guards too. But because I actually have, I would probably go Sengun, the Turkish center. Mm-hmm. But because Keon Johnson has fallen so far, I'm going to go Keon Johnson here. And I think the Spurs are going to not want to pass up on that talent there. I mean, he's a freakish athlete. He can easily get to the spots on his floor. He's an elite defender. He's got a little bit of a budgeting pull-up mid-game jump shot. I think if you really worked and developed him, you could find something nice and good with him. Who were you thinking I was going to say, Moo?
I thought you were going to take the guy that the majority of the Knicks fans.
Book Night. Yeah. No, I don't know if. I mean, it's so tough too because I think he's so talented. I easily could see him going as high as 6.
Yeah.
But I mean, just trying to like base and think about teams' needs. Like realistically, I think you can make an argument for him being drafted by the Magic at 5. I feel like he's shown a more versatile scoring game than Kuminga has. Right. But I don't know. I don't know if he would come off the board yet.
So I'm just gonna say, as someone who has watched every James Bouknight game for the last 2 years, because I'm a big UConn guy, I think 6 is very bullish on him reaching his potential. Yeah. I think the spot we're in now, that 11-15 range, I think that's the perfect range for him. Because of course he could be better than that, but it's all about can you develop him. I think top 10 is very, very bullish on him reaching his potential.
I just don't really like any of the guys 6 through 10 realistically. So I think that's kind of the reason why I feel that way. Like I only really kind of like Davion Mitchell, and I'm not really sure he's really a 6 through 10 guy in like a normal draft. Like I said, like I see a ton of mocks with Franz Wagner in there, and like I've already gone through why I don't really like Scotty Barnes either. And like those are like supposed to be the cream of the crop, I guess, in a lot of those mocks in that range. So that's part of my thought process about seeing Bouknight that high.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Should we?
13th.
Who's?
Pacers.
Yeah, the Indiana Pacers.
All
right, Moo.
Yeah. So I think this we're definitely now in the range where anybody, just about anybody, can actually be selected. Pacers, they have a kind of a I'd say a decently deep roster. I don't think there is necessarily any positional needs, assuming they don't make some moves, but they need something, right? There's no life to that team. They have guys that are injured. They got guys that are injury prone. They have guys that are underwhelming. So I don't know. I think maybe some talent or we go with the stereotypical. I'll go with the stereotypical Indiana Pacer pick. I'm gonna go with Franz Wagner.
Yeah. Here I'm just not a fan. He's just like kind of like a jack of all trades, a master of none. I mean, he is a really good,
and those are the kind of guys that the Pacers keep picking.
Yeah, yeah. They have an archetype and they keep going with it. Yeah, I've versatile defender, very switchable, questionable three ball. I don't, I think the Kings would probably be another good fit for him too, as a questionable defender type guy. This is probably where I would put Bouknight. I think that they need somebody. They need to swing for the fences.
Yeah, that's true.
And and I feel like that would be a solid.
Can I change my selection?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, I'll go with Bouknight too. Yeah, I mean,
no, you can't change it. You already submitted it. Adam Silver already called his name. No take backs.
All right. Yeah, that was kind of the other guy. But I just feel that the Pacers, being kind of the Pacers, like guys that like Wagner. I mean, he does have a fit. Again, none of their guys are what I consider really, must keeps. So I think they're going to try to make some moves. And this, you go with a guy that has quite a bit of talent, and see what that gives you.
Well, he fits real good because it's like they already have Brogdon, they already have Karis LeVert. They're going to do a lot of your ball handling.
Right.
Sabonis does a decent amount of ball handling as well. So having a guy that's kind of like a glue guy, that's very versatile defender, can shoot. He's a good playmaker too. Like I'm not going to want him to dribble the ball a lot and make passes, but he should definitely be a souped up Frank Ntilikina, like a ball mover type guy. So yeah, I don't hate the fit.
Sure.
So I guess I know we're not mocking trades, but this would be the time that I would hope that Leon Rose would swoop in and trade up for Bouknight, because I think you can get up to 14. Yeah, I think you could easily get up to 14 here. But I'm gonna go Bouknight for the Golden State Warriors. I think they need some sort of scoring off the bench. I know Clay's coming back. We'll see if Clay is still Clay. Right. I've been saying for a while, I think Steph Curry is a dark horse to be on the market next year, or at least be available in free agency. Right. And I think you got to go. They're been like you saw it this season. Like they had no really scoring outside of Curry and Wiggins. Wiggins was much better this year than he's been in his entire career, but I don't think you really want to rely on that. So yeah, I'm gonna go Bouknight here.
Right. No, I agree. All right, we're at the midpoint, almost at midpoint. Wizards.
Yeah, we're out of the lottery. Kyle, do you want to recap now that we're out of the lottery again, or
just recap that 10? It would literally be 4 picks.
Oh yeah, so let's not recap then.
In case anyone short-term memory just died in the last 2 minutes.
All right, with the Wizards, the Wizards surprised people, kind of like the Knicks. Not quite to that degree, but they looked toasted, right? They looked absolutely dead, and then boom, trade happens, or not, or Westbrook happens, and he wakes up a little bit, and the Wizards go, look good. I don't think they believe that that team is meant for anything. So I think they're still going to be looking to build for the future. They may try to, offload. I would not be surprised if they try to trade Beal seriously this offseason. He's coming off another great season, right? 30 plus points, whatever he's doing. And they're going to be looking for, I think, talent. So who is the most talented guy? I think it's between, I think they need a guard, because a guard's league. So I think, I'll go with, Moses Moody, who has, some skill, some talent. And they're going to try to throw him out there, get some points, so that when their big dollar guys are no longer here, maybe he develops into something. I think he has some upside. I think this is a solid talent pick for them.
Funny enough, the Ringer also has him going at 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
no camera.
I like the Moody pick there. I think it makes a lot of sense. I feel like he's a 3-and-D guy. He might get into that like a Mikal Bridges area where he's able to attack some closeouts and hit some mid-range jump shots or whatever. I think that's a good fit. I think he'll be able to play off Westbrook and Beal very well. They need shooting as well. I was also thinking Turkish big there because I know they have Thomas Bryant or whatever, but I feel like they were trotting out Robin Lopez a lot this year, and he's kind of on the downside of the career. But I like Moody. I think that's a good pick. Moving on to the next pick in the draft is the Oklahoma City Thunder. Sam Presti just raiding everyone's bad contracts and collecting first round picks like they're Infinity Stones. So he was able to collect a Kemba Walker in exchange for the 16th pick in this draft, and I think they're in swing for the fences mode, look for superstar type stuff. And I'm going to go with Zahir Williams from Stanford.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, he was a guy that was considered the 6th or 7th best prospect coming in out of high school. And he just had like absolutely horrendous season. And it's so funny because it's like I've been watching a lot of like YouTube scout tapes, and they just like say all these bad things about him, about how he's a terrible shooter and how he like really can't get to the rim and all these bad things. But they're like, I still really like him as a prospect. So I think he was better than Brandon BJ Boston. Not really. He had that triple double game. I think you can like kind of hang your hat on it a little bit. So I think that's who's going to go there. And like Stanford had a really wonky season. Like they were living out of hotels for, I think the first 5 weeks or something like that. They couldn't really play at home. So, that's gotta be a really tough for an 18-year-old to not really have that stability. And then I think he got injured as well. So like he had a really up and down season. I think if you have the patience, which you've seen Oklahoma City with drafting Poku, that I think this is a good, solid choice for them.
Yeah, I think if things were, more like a usual and he played more, he'd go a lot higher. From what I'm reading, a lot of people are really thinking that he can be the steal of the draft if he's going where he's supposed to be going. Right in this range. So yeah, definitely that's a Thunder pick. And again, Thunder's another one of those teams, everybody knows they're rebuilding, so they can, gamble a little bit. So if they went with Davion Mitchell to me is kind of like that rock that, he may not be a superstar, but he's the rock that you can actually throw out there and some of the other guys and have him kind of be the young leader type. And I think, adding a Williams to that, to Mitchell is a really good idea. That's a good fit, good potential. I think the direction it fits well. I think the two of those guys. All right. 17 Grizzlies. I'm going to do it without cameras. I'm going to go with the guy that has, not been mentioned. So I know Jonas Valanciunas. I love the way Valanciunas played. If I was the Knicks, I could, and I could land him. He'd be to me the kind of the ideal center for this team.
Yeah.
Going forward. But from the Grizzlies standpoint, he's got 1 year left on his contract, and the Grizzlies are kind of the way he's playing right now. He might be playing his way out of Memphis. So I think they'll go with the Turkish center, Sengun, Alperen Sengun.
I'm a big fan. I'm probably the biggest fan on the board of his. I feel like he reminds me of Valanciunas, a Valanciunas, Nurkic, Vucevic type of guy. But like there's some upside there too, where like I think he's a really good playmaker too. Like I've seen him make some like pretty sick passes. That kind of makes me wonder if like there's a little joker there. But I mean, I don't think it's realistic to expect that or anything like that. But there's talent there, and I don't think you dominate the league like the Turkish league like that. In my opinion, it's the second best league in Europe. Shane Larkin's over there, and he's pretty damn good too. So like I think if you're good enough to win the MVP in that league, I think you're going to be a player. Whether you're going to be a great player, I don't know, but you're definitely going to be a guy that can play in the NBA.
Yep, agreed.
Oh man, are we now? All right, there's another Oklahoma City pick. I was like, oh man, I thought we were finally here at the Knicks. Oh man, who am I gonna go with here?
Are we at the Knicks?
No, we're not.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're one more Oklahoma City pick. I feel like this is really tough. I don't know where I'd really go. Because I went with Mitchell before, I don't think Sharif Cooper would be a good pick here. Who do they did just get rid of Horford. So maybe I don't know. Let's see. How about Isaiah Jackson? I feel like they need a big now that Horford's gone. They also got rid of Moses Brown, which was also he played a lot of big minutes with them as well. I'm going to go Isaiah Jackson.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's they have so many picks. It's so tough to like put a finger on what they're necessarily going to do. And especially since I had them grabbing a guard already, a guard and a wing. Like if I had 3 picks, I would probably look guard, wing, big, and that's kind of what we ended up doing here.
Cool, very good.
Yeah.
All right, number 19. We're at the Knicks.
Yeah, and bonus since Jim let you go first. You get to make both the Knicks picks.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
I'm really upset about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a tough pick. I don't have any surprises. I think, the Knicks, we know what they need. The question is there someone that can satisfy that need? Sharif Cooper is a talented player, but I think that 6'3" measurement was a mistake, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
I think
big mistake.
Yeah, I think he's 6 foot and 3 inches. I think, or no, not 3 inches. He's like 6.03, so I guess like 3 centimeters or something like that.
Yeah.
So
no, that's a lie. They didn't. That's not what they made the mistake on.
That's
either way. Either way, he's 6 foot he's like 6 foot and a hair.
And he's got big hair.
That's why he has the afro. That's why he has the afro.
Yeah, it adds a few inches. You know what? I'll go with Sharif Cooper. I think even if he may not be the point guard that the Knicks need, the reality is they need point guards, starting point guards, off the bench point guards, guys that can handle the ball and just do stuff with it. And that's really, that was their struggle when they had to, right? When Julius Randle has to be your, point guard, starting point guard, you're kind of in trouble. We lived through the regular season, but the playoffs, ball just, it could not move. So I'll go with who I think is probably the best point guard left. And go with Sharif Cooper. I think at the very least they can, he has the type of game I think that would get Tibbs to play him kind of like IQ. Does he fit with IQ in the backcourt? I don't know. I think you take him and you see what you get. I mean, the other guy is they could go with somebody taller, but the problem with point guards is you don't want to fall in love with height. Height doesn't always mean point guard ability in the NBA. So,
right.
I mean, for me, it's either Cooper or maybe like Duarte.
So I'm going to jump in here. So Jim and I were actually talking about this the other day on the board. I disagree. I don't think we're
Cooper.
going. Not on Cooper. I don't think they're going to go for a point guard in the draft. Because you think about it, right? They need a starting point guard.
They need a starting point guard.
Because we have quickly off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
We're also probably bringing back Derrick Rose.
Yeah,
and
pretty much a guarantee, I think.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure they at least want to see what Vildoza can do. So
right.
Rose, quickly, Vildoza, and Sharif Cooper. I think that's too crowded for what they want.
I should be able to change my mind.
Well, you can change your mind, but you already made the pick.
Damn it.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, Jim, I think we're looking more towards a wing, maybe a big, because we need a backup center, especially with Mitch being a question mark going forward. Obviously, I think you take the wing first. I think if you look at who is available, Zaire Williams if he falls to us, might be a pretty good pick. I know a lot of people are high on JT.
That would be ideal.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are high on JT Thor. I'm not picking him in the first round yet.
No.
But also,
he's getting interviews and workouts with lottery teams. I think I saw him working out with the Pacers and two other teams. I wish I remember what the tweet said, but he's getting, people are loving him.
Yeah. I just don't know. But I probably just because I haven't done much looking at him. But I'm going to disagree also that Sharif Cooper is the best point guard option.
Okay.
Because it's Bones Highland. Come on. Who else is it going to be? When you look at what you need in the modern NBA, you need guys who can handle the ball, who can shoot off dribble, and who can just, flat out shoot. That's right. Bones Highland right there. Yep. And if you want to say, him and Quickly are a bit small, yeah, they are, but they're going to be coming out the bench, so it's not a huge issue.
No, that's true.
And
that's true.
Yeah. So if I have to pick a guard here, I'm going with Bones Highland over Sharif Cooper. But I think we look more towards the wings than pure guards.
Yeah, I think at this pick.
Yep.
I'm with Kyle. I probably would go Bones here, but I would also like to bring up Jarrett Butler and Trey Mann as well. I hope that Butler has a clean bill of health because
that's the big concern. Yeah,
I really like him. I think I like him better than both Bones and Cooper. I'm actually not a big Cooper fan really at all. I think maybe 10, 15 years ago he would be ideal. He's like a guy that can get a lot of dribble penetration. Mm-hmm. He's a good playmaker. He's okay. He's not a horrible finisher, surprisingly or not. But I watched a scouting video on Butler the other day, and I kind of forgot about how good he was because I really only kind of remembered him playing off of Mitchell in March Madness, but he has got good dribble penetration skills. He's a decent playmaker. He's very athletic. He can shoot off the bounce. He can run off screens. If he's healthy, I would have a hard time passing up on him at 19. But
fair enough.
Well, let's move on to the Atlanta Hawks. Right, the Atlanta Hawks are next.
Yep.
Man, I keep forgetting. I keep forgetting that the playoffs don't matter. It's not like the NFL where your draft pick can change because of how well you do in the playoffs. And they've been the surprise of this offseason, and they get not a too bad pick. And I think what I would have done for them last year is I would have went with Tyrese Halliburton because I feel like you want to give Trae Young some opportunity off ball that you don't want necessarily him to be like create all the offense. So I'm going to go with Trey Mann here, who is 6'5", offers a little bit of playmaking skills. He can shoot off the bounce. He has a nice floater game too. I think you can easily have him take over and play a very similar offense that you do now with Trae Young, but instead of Young, have him be a man. That's my pick at 20.
Wait, who'd you pick?
Trey Man out of Florida.
He wants to Trey backcourt.
Yeah, the Trey backcourt.
Somehow he'll make a man out of you.
Nice.
I like Trey Man. I think that the talent and all of that stuff is there. The question is, does he have that kind of lead alpha personality that you have to have if you're an NBA point guard? I mean, I think his skills he's more of an offensive, right, guard.
He's 6'5", so I feel like you can have him play the 2 next to Trae Young and not be. But then again, you might get killed defensively in that situation because he's not a really good defender and he doesn't exactly have a great first step either. Like a lot of his game are floaters because I don't think he doesn't get all the way to the rim. But again, it's like you can space the floor out. You can go 5 out with the Hawks. So, he might not have as much issues there,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
All right. So again. we are at pick number 21, and we're just going to take a quick break to, recap the last 10 picks. At number 11, the Charlotte Hornets took Kai Jones. Then Keon Johnson falls to the Spurs at number 12. The Pacers take Franz Wagner, number 13. James Bouknight, my guy, goes number 14 to the Warriors. I have to say, excellent place for him to land, by the way. That's just my opinion on it. Number 15, the Wizards take Moses Moody. Zaire Williams goes to the OKC Thunder at 16. Then Alperen Sengun, I don't know how to pronounce his name actually, goes to the Memphis Grizzlies, number 17. And the third pick in the draft for the OKC Thunder, which I'm pretty sure there's no way they're taking 3 guys this year. They go with Isaiah Jackson at number 18. Then the first Knicks pick, number 19, we go with Sharif Cooper. And finally, number 20, the Atlanta Hawks take Trey Man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Here we are, 21. Knicks pick number 2.
And I remember, no take backsies.
No take backsies? That's all right. This is a tough one. I think at this point, you're just kind of looking at guys that can. I'm not necessarily high on anybody that's left. I do kind of like Greg Brown a little bit, but I don't think there's any reason to reach. I haven't seen. I know Tankathon has Usman Garuba. I haven't seen him play, so it's hard for me to pick him, right? Because he's the highest ranking guy left. I'm gonna go with a guy that I think he I don't think he could shoot, right? He's kind of like the really poor man's version of the guy that so many Knicks fans wanted last year that went to Cleveland, was it?
Okoro?
Like wing, huh?
Oh yeah, Isaac Okoro. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of go with a kind of do-all guy. I think more like bench for a guy that's a little older. But that might be able to come off the bench and try to do some things, right? Be versatile and play a couple of different positions. I know some of the guys on the board really like him. I'll go with the wing from Illinois, Ayo Dosunmu.
Ayo Dosunmu?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, he's that's not who I probably would have went with. I would probably went with Chris Duarte from Oregon. I think.
Yeah.
See, Jim. I thought that's where he's going with it when he said he's going to be a little older.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna bring in with he's like a year older than Obi.
That's why.
Yeah. Do you know how much mileage I would get out of that this year?
That's why I didn't pick him. I can imagine. Oh my God, the setup for the Obi Duarte show. No, I think I do like Duarte. That's why I mentioned him as possible at 21. But I think not that Frank did anything, right? But you kind of, if you're playing for Tibbs, I still think he wants guys that can do a whole bunch of things. And I think this guy can do a lot of that. He's a little older. He's 21, I think. I think he's
21 and a half.
Yeah, I think he's a solid fit for Tibbs and the Knicks, right? I mean, the reality is, there's a reason the Knicks are trying to move up because they're looking at these guys in this range and going, right? So if we're stuck and having to pick these guys, I think they're gonna go with some guy that can bring it a little bit. I still like Greg Brown from Texas. I think he has some interesting potential, but he's a power forward, and that's the last thing the Knicks need right now. So I'll go with Alfred Nayo.
See,
Yeah,
he was another guy I forgot to mention when we were talking about guys who I think might be better point guards than Sharif Cooper. I think he's up there too. So I definitely wouldn't mind us taking him. But if we already do take one point guard at 19, I don't think we take another guard. I think we focus more on a wing or a big.
Right.
With that being said, I am 98% certain that we come out of this draft with a certain B.J. Boston from Kentucky.
32.
So I am.
I think
think that
he's
Okay. See, but here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Is that if you had told us last year we were getting Emmanuel quickly, we'd be like, oh, we're getting him second round. No, we got him with a late first. So
Yeah, but Quickly was good at Kentucky. Boston was not good at Kentucky.
Yeah,
Like
but
he
here's the
sat
thing.
down with Gavoni. He sat down with Gavoni, and they were going over his high school tape. You know what I mean? Like that's how bad. That's how.
Oh God.
That's how.
give him the
That's
old
how bad he was at UK.
give him the old James Wiseman treatment from last year with Melo bringing up the high school footage.
Yeah, like that matters at all.
Well,
And-
what I'm saying is like I know this is about what we would do in this scenario, but if we're talking about what the Knicks would do, I definitely think we would definitely take him 21 rather than wait until 32, based on what Rose did last year, being aggressive and getting his guy quickly.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would hope not, just because like there's so much like again, Jared Butler's still on the board. I can't say enough about him. Cam Thomas is really good too. He kind of fits like a person that we need. We need scoring. I would just
Also Nemais Queta. What about him?
Yeah. I mean, he's a giant.
Rocco Pression.
That's even a Euro. I don't even know, but yeah, I mean, like, I would just hate to reach on Boston here because there's some, and like, I'm not like the biggest IO fan. He reminds me a lot of Shumpert actually, but he's freakishly athletic and like super fast, and like he does have a mid-range jumper.
And the Knicks kind of need that. They have, we talked about a lot. The Knicks were a great defensive team, but when you look at the guys, they shouldn't be as good as they were.
Yeah.
And, so I think some young legs, some length, some, guys that can go out there will inject some energy.
Because I mean, even our young players, well, outside of Obi, even though the rest of our young players aren't freakish, like athletic.
No,
like RJ's not an athlete. Quickly's not an athlete.
Does Obi even count as a young player?
I mean, that's up for debate as well. So, but yeah, Io's going to want to run. This is like a mellowism. It's like you usually only see guys like it's tough to like develop their game at like when they only be able to adapt it into the NBA.
It's a role player, yeah.
Right, but like he has a pull-up jump shot. He's freakishly athletic. If he works on his handle and if he doesn't drift forward on his three-point shot, he might develop into a 3-level scorer. Like there's a lot. He's very toolsy. There's tools there for him to develop. And you get him with Johnny Bryant, you never know.
I mean, that's the thing, right? They brought Tibbs in. They brought all these guys in. They're not. I don't think they're going to be looking for, a risk. Obi turned out to be a huge risk and raw as heck, but they drafted him thinking that he's the most, ready guy in the draft.
Yep.
And IQ, I'm sure they saw him as he's got a perfect role. Right, he did more than most role plays drafted 23rd or whatever. But I don't think they're looking for guys they're looking for guys that come in, that can fit, that's played, that knows what to do, that can play a role on the team. I don't think they at that far down, 19 and 21. I don't think they're looking to swing for the fences. They're looking for guys that can fill holes and do things that they need. That might not be what Knicks fans want to hear, but I think that's why they're trying to trade up. I mean, it's smart, right? They realize they don't have talent into the talent league, so they're trying to trade all the way up to the 7, right? That's like the highest. I mean, they're looking for talent. So,
yeah, I think they're looking for Book Knight, and I think they're hoping on Davion Mitchell too. I think they wanted him originally, and then obviously he went really off in the March Madness, so he went way above their range. But yeah, I think those are the two guys they're looking for. We need 3-level scorers.
Yep.
You know, like Randall sets up and attacks from that 18, the mellow zone. You know, that's where he likes to create. And you need guys that create from the perimeter and from the top of the key.
Right.
So, yeah, and you know who we could use for that? We could get someone to go to the Bones zone.
The Bones zone, yeah.
See? The mellow zone to the Bones zone.
I think Bones would be a good pick at this time as well.
Also, can I just say, it is absolutely insane to me that whenever you look at these places that are like, here's his strengths, weaknesses, none of them list his nickname is Bones for their strengths. That would be number 1 on any list I made.
Tweet at Kevin O'Connor and be like, you need to add that for his strengths.
Oh, I will.
All right, I guess we could probably talk about the Knicks for the rest of the pod, but like let's move on. Let's move on to the Lakers. Yeah. So here's where I'm going to go with Chris Duarte. He's going to be a plug and play guy for the Lakers. He's a shooter. He can, he's not like going to create a bunch for you, but he certainly can attack on closeouts and stuff like that. And I think he can defend. So I think he'd be a really good guy that can play off LeBron and like replace one of their 3-and-D guys with him. So that's my pick for the Lakers at 22.
All right, Rockets have back-to-back picks. The Rockets are kind of they're kind of a mess, right? Do they have any talent?
No, they have Christian Woods and they have Kevin Porter Jr.
They have Evan Mobley.
Oh, that's right. They
yeah.
Yeah. They can swing for the fences here. You know what? I'll go with a fence swing, and they have 2 picks, right? So I think one of these picks they'll reach and they'll take BJ Boston.
Okay.
May not be this one, but I think one of the 2. They can afford it.
Yeah, I feel like that makes sense. I'm gonna go Jaden Springer for their next pick, because we had them draft Jalen Green, didn't we? Not Mobley. So Kyle, that was wrong. But yeah.
See, but here's the beautiful part. I'm the one that edits this afterwards, so I'm gonna fix that in post, and you're gonna look like a moron.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go Jaden Springer. I feel like he's a guard that would complement Green very well. He's kind of like more of like a kind of like Lonzo Ball a little bit, where like he's not really like a point guard that you're gonna want to like spam pick and roll a bunch, but he's gonna be able to defend. He has a nice little pull up game. He kind of bully balls his way to the rim too. He's solid. Nothing too special, but I think again it's like they need to swing for the fences, and I think he's very
pile.
Yeah, he's toolsy. He's toolsy.
You pile up as much as you can. All right, so we're on to
Clippers.
I could go any number of ways, I guess. At this point, I'll go with. I think they need a big guy. But then again, they have so many different needs. I'm not a big fan of Sharp. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I just don't like him. I'll go with. Can I have a 5-minute break to figure out now?
Yeah, you can have a 5-minute break if you make it 5 seconds.
Damn it. I'll go. You know what? I'll go with. Cam Thomas.
Okay, that was what I was thinking.
Yeah,
actually, you know what? I was gonna go Jared Butler there, just because I feel like they need another guard that like can create a little bit. But Cam Thomas kind of fits the bill as well. He's more of a scorer, not really offering any playmaking. But yeah, like you can see this team without Kawhi around, like they can't score other than Paul George.
Yeah, they're very stagnant.
Yeah, so he would definitely give them. That's why I was so confused when they made that trade. They got rid of Lou Williams. I was like, I understand that they needed more playmaking.
That was a great trade for you know who.
Yeah,
but
they who shall not be named.
Yeah, we won't talk about them.
Yeah, that was a great. Yeah, that trade made no sense to me. I think Cam Thomas could fit into that Lou Williams role really well. Like I said, I would go with Butler here, but I think that's a good. You can't go wrong here with that.
Right.
So, all right, who's next on the clock? Oh, it's our boys, the Denver Nuggets. We'll forever be tied to them because of the Carmelo trade. Man, this is tough. tough. Because it's like, what do they need? You know what? I'm gonna go Jared Butler here.
Yeah. You know, I was gonna say if you didn't pick him, I was gonna say he's falling because of injury concerns, right? Does that now make him the perfect Denver pick?
It does.
Is that not what they do?
Yeah, it's what they do. Well, too, like, they, like, who's really their two guard? You know what I mean? Like, they have Will Barton and stuff like that, and they're like just kind of like whatever. And obviously, they miss Murray a lot with his injury, but yeah, I think they really need another backcourt person.
Yeah, and, they'll pick him, and he'll end up being healthy and better than people expected.
Yeah, so I like that pick. I think he's a good. Yeah, I think he's a good fit. Butler should go there for sure. All right. Now we're on to our everyone's favorite team, the Brooklyn Nets.
The Nets decided to pick no one, and take too long, and they lose the pick.
Well, see, here's the thing though. When you take too long, you don't lose the pick. The other teams just get the pick in front of you until you make the pick.
Okay, so we'll wait until you know what? Out with the 27th pick in the 2021 NBA draft, and the Brooklyn Nets select Bones Highland.
Oh, good pick.
I think that sounds. It just seems like. I think.
Why would you do this to me?
What?
Why would you do this to me?
I personally think he's the type of player that would work well with the guys that they had there. Just the way, this is his style and the way he plays. He'll probably get media minutes and,
Oh man, that would have been a good pick for the 76ers who are coming up next.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm with you. They can use a bench scorer. I feel like they could also use a big too.
Right.
That wouldn't be a bad fit.
But I think the bigs they can probably sign a free agent big, another, title chasing.
Yeah, just title chasing body.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yep.
All right, now we're gonna go with the 76ers, and this is getting to the end of the first round is pretty tough, especially because we picked all these guys out of order than what they are expected by everybody else. I think I'm gonna go with the guy from West Virginia, Miles McBride. I think his nickname is Deuces. I think they just need more perimeter help, and I think he can give you a lot of what's that really good wing defender that they have? I can't think of his name now.
Thibault.
Thibault. I think you can give him a little bit of that, but like actually he can shoot the ball a little bit as well. So he's a lockdown defender, can shoot a little bit. I like the fit.
All right. So,
yeah, let's move on to the Suns. What do the Phoenix Suns need?
Suns will need a point guard when Chris Paul leaves. The Suns. I mean, I don't think they really, really have a big need for anyone. I mean, they've got their center. They've got their shooting guard.
They got their 3-man and Mikal Bridges.
Yeah. Yep.
They also got Cam Johnson and Jay Crowder for backup wings.
Yeah, I mean they're stacked. They're real stacked.
Don't they also have Frank Kaminsky too?
They do.
The tank.
God.
I feel like this is a good spot for your boy Greg Brown.
Hang on. Who do we have the Hornets pick? Kai Jones? Oh no, wait, no, they're going Luka Garza.
Who?
The Hornets.
The Hornets are when?
They're no at 11. They're going with Luka Garza, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Hey, have you not seen Michael Jordan's draft history?
Don't underestimate
the best college. Yeah, the best college player ever. That's usually what he goes for.
He just goes for whoever's the best tall white guy who played in college. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
No, you're not wrong at all.
No, you would think
it's funny because it's true.
Maybe he's still trying to recover from what's his name? That was Jordan's first. I think it was wasn't his first pick as a decision maker. What's his name? The center, small hands, high school player.
Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown.
Yeah, he's probably still trying to recover from that.
But he also drafted Adam Morrison too, who ended up being terrible.
Well, that's true.
And Cody Zeller, who's not terrible, but not worth his draft pick. Also Frank Kaminsky.
That's some really bad choices. I'll go Greg Brown. I think Greg Brown, he has a lot of physical tools that I think work well. I think he has upside. He has a lot of upside. If Chris Paul stays, I think he would be a good fit with that team. Bring some, athleticism, toughness, explosiveness. I'll go with Greg Brown.
Yeah, I mean they're bringing out Saric as their backup center right now. So I think that's a role and a position that they could really need.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, and finally, last but not least, the Utah Jazz. This is very tough. I thought this would be easier than it is to come up with a mock, but I've definitely run out of steam in the last few picks. What I think that they need the most is they need another person that can create, but that's really tough to get at the end of the draft, Yep. So it's like I'm not really too sure what they would do. Yeah, you know what? God, I'm trying to think here. How about they go with? I'm gonna go with Josh Christopher. He was like kind of like a highly, I think he was like a top 10 guy coming out of high school, and he was pretty underwhelming at Arizona State. Mm-hmm. But he's like a very good athlete. He can kind of create off the bounce a little bit. Not really a playmaker or anything like that. But again, it's like you saw how important Jordan Clarkson was. I think he can duplicate a lot of that kind of stuff and give somebody that can create a shot other than Donovan Mitchell. So that's my guy. All right. So we did it. We made it to the end of the first round.
All right.
How great is that?
Yeah. So just so to recap the last 10 picks, at number 21 we had the New York Knicks taking Ayo Dosunmu. Then we had 22 Lakers taking Chris Duarte. BJ Boston goes 23rd to the Rockets, who then turn around and pick Jaden Springer right after that. Yep. Followed by the Clippers at 25, taking Cameron Thomas. Then the Denver Nuggets take the Denver Nuggets pick, and they go with Jared Butler. Then my guy, Bones Highland, is tragically sentenced to play for the Brooklyn Nets, where he will back up Kyrie Irving and James Harden. Did you really think about that one? I want to ask. Anyways, moving on. Deuce McBride, number 28, to the 76ers. Gregory Brown, number 29, to the Phoenix Suns. And last but not least, the Utah Jazz take Josh Christopher, who I'm pretty sure the Utah Jazz fans would rather have them take Luka Garza reasons. But
For reasons.
besides that, yeah. So with the first round done, are there give me one or two guys that aren't on the draft, aren't on the board so far that you think could be potential steals in the second round?
I think Day'Ron Sharpe could be like Kyle O'Quinn a little bit. He's got like decent vision. He's a big body. He can block some shots. I don't know if that's like the type of steal you're looking for. But yeah, I don't think that's too bad. Trey Murphy III, whether Marcus Bagley stays in the draft, I think he could be a solid 3-and-D guy. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, he's a Villanova guy. I feel like all of those guys come into the league that are pretty solid. I think any of those 3 or 4 could be pretty good steals in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I like there is a couple of guys. One that nobody's ever heard of. I brought him up on the board. A couple of guys that are kind of thrown out there are 2 kind of wingish guys. They're a little bit on the older side, but again, I think their games are kind of, it doesn't have a lot of ceiling, but they can contribute. That's Herbert Jones and Aaron Henry. They're both kind of wings. Yeah, I think they can serve and play and surprise some people. Not with a lot of upside, but I think they can play in the NBA. The one guy that I mentioned on the board, he actually I think was a teammate of Josh Giddey, on and off in Australia, and the guy's name is Mojave King. He is a big athletic wing that has ball handling ability and passing. So I think he may not get drafted, but I think it'll be. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the teams like the Jazz or Memphis or somebody like that signs them, grabs them, or they may even be a surprise late second round pick, and he can turn into something a few years down the road.
Yeah, I'm also going to throw out 2 guys that are probably going to be in the first round that we didn't mention. I think JT Thor is probably going to be a first round pick, and he probably would have been a good pick for the Suns. Is Usma Guarba from Real Madrid. He's 18 years old. He's playing on the Real Madrid, number 1 team.
Mm-hmm.
So like, again, it's like, I feel like a guy like that, and he's like a lockdown defender. He kind of reminds me a little bit of Taj Gibson. There's not really, there's not like a ton of offense there yet.
Right.
But I could see him being pretty solid as well if you wanted like a lockdown big. But he's only 6'8", so I could see that causing him to slip a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for bringing him up again. I was gonna say JT Thor. Like I said, I haven't seen much of him. From what I have seen,
me neither.
He's pretty intriguing. I think he's one of those guys who you look at and you can say, you know what, if he's there in the late first, early second, I might as well take a flyer on him. He's got a lot of potential, but it's going to be about how you develop him and all that. So he's one of my guys who I think could be a potential steal if he develops right.
Yeah, I gotta watch film on him. The little clips that I've seen, he looks pretty interesting. Maybe with that 32nd, 33rd pick, whatever pick second rounder.
Yeah, if he's there, I think that's a good gamble.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at some of these things, is whether or not it's a good gamble. Another guy who is kind of flying under the radar that I think really hurt his stock by playing in the G League this year, Daishen Nix. I think he's intriguing. I think you look at him coming out of high school, he had a lot of potential. I think that this is one of those cases where you can really see he struggled to play against G League guys. So he does have talent. It's going to take a lot to get it out of him. Like I said, I think in the second round, I think he's a good gamble.
He was horrendous at the combine. I think he shot like 13 or something like that. So yeah, he's not. He did look. He lost a bunch of weight, but yeah, he has not been great. So, but yeah, it'll be something to keep an eye out on. He might be your Nico Manning or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I would say with that 32nd pick, JT Thor, BJ Boston, if either one of those guys, you if you're going to keep it, pick someone with upside and whatever, right?
Yeah, I still expect us to combine 32 and 19.
Yeah,
and I think we'll try to jump to. I think that gets you to 15 or 14, maybe. I that's the move that I kind of see us making. I don't really foresee us packaging both first round picks to get up into the top 10. But maybe we'll see. We'll see what Leon has up their sleeves.
Also, I'm just gonna take one last time. This is not gonna be the last time. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna stand for a guy who's gonna go undrafted that I think we should really give him a shot. My guy, Isaiah Whaley, out of UConn. He's just listen. He's just a guy who always plays with a ton of energy. Got a ton of blocks last year. He's not very skilled, but he plays with heart. That's all I can really say about him for positive. He's like a less athletic Kenneth Faried, but he has a semblance of a jump shot. So I think somebody should give him a shot as an undrafted free agent. I'd love for it to be us, just because I got to stand for my UConn guys.
All right, yeah. So this was a lot of fun. We went through all the 30 picks.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be a little bit quicker than it actually took. We were doing this for an hour and a half now. Pretty crazy. We definitely ran out of steam there at the end because this is tough business.
This is not easy. Yep.
Yeah, I give a lot of faith or a lot of credit to the draft journalists that do this stuff. Like pretty much, once a week they come up with new mocks to keep clicks happening. So it's like I want to salute to all those guys. Because I use Kevin O'Connor and Jonathan Wasserman and the Draft Express guys as a little bit of a template for how we set this up. So I want to give them credit for all the work that they do and keeping us, us other NBA fans informed. And I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of No Blood, No Foul doing a mock draft. We'll hopefully get to do a deep dive on some players just specifically for the Knicks coming up soon.
Yep.
And we'll hopefully have Slice and Coke there to do that. And maybe we'll put it up on YouTube too. So this was another episode of No Blood, No Foul, doing a fun little mock draft. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for more content coming up in the summer.
Also, because the algorithm likes us, remember to like, subscribe, listen, ring the bell, whatever. Bye.